Missouri Task Force 1's mission was to aid in the response to Hurricane Ida by conducting reconnaissance missions throughout the state of Louisiana, but mainly in Jefferson Parish. The 80-person team had over 100,000 pounds of equipment and a convoy of 11 vehicles. There were widespread power outages and wind and water damages throughout Jefferson Parish. The task force helped provide support to the community since there was such a lack of commodities. One task force leader said the team comes from all over to support the force's efforts.
There was also state teams from different areas in the South, as well as I think as far away as New York. It's in a state team. So different groups, but we all came there and were coordinated to work together to try to do the most good for the most number of people as quick as we can.
Task Force 1's members said that they are glad to be back home to their families, and they are grateful to have supported the Louisiana community. In the studio, I'm Reagan Di Trolio, KOMU8 News. Today's parade featured multiple state officials, floats, and bands from all across the state. Hundreds of community members were there to show their support and honor the state of Missouri. I spoke with some of those attendees about what makes the bicentennial so important. The purpose of Missouri's bicentennial inaugural parade is to celebrate and reflect on Missouri's rich historical past and look forward to the future. Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe was one of the state officials in attendance. He described why he believes this day is so significant.
Well, you don't turn 200 years old every day, and Governor's idea was to celebrate our state's birthday by having a parade, and as you can see from the people who came out, it's overwhelming.
Kehoe continued to emphasize the excitement and support community members have shown.
With veterans in it, and the most heartwarming thing I would say is as those veterans floats went through the community, people were cheering and screaming for them and clapping for them, and that was unbelievably heartwarming.
Lots of people at the parade were there to see their family members march and dance.
I'm excited to see my daughters. They're in Marching Mizzou, so I've got two freshmen that go to the University of Missouri, and we're going to watch them here in the parade today.
Another Mizzou father from Lee's Summit came to see his daughter perform with the Golden Girls, but also to honor the history behind this event.
My whole family is fourth-generation Missourian, so it's very important to me to kind of learn and keep track of the history. I always live by the motto, you kind of need to know where you've been to know where you're going.
There were many floats in the parade that showcased Missouri's history and celebrated what it means to be a Missourian over the past 200 years. Festivities will conclude later tonight at the Bicentennial Inaugural Ball on the lawn of the Capitol. The ball will end with a fireworks show overlooking the Missouri River. In the studio, I'm Reagan Di Trolio, KOMU8 News. Moberly is promoting small businesses and increasing tourism by hosting Junk Junction, the JROTC Car Show, and the National Gus Macker Basketball Tournament. The Gus Macker 3-on-3 basketball tournament was the high point of today's events in Moberly. This is the first time in 13 years since the tournament has been in Missouri and the first time Moberly has hosted the national tournament. I spoke with chairwoman of the Gus Macker tournament to find out more on what the tournament involves.
The National 3-on-3 Outdoor Basketball Tournament. They hold tournaments all over the nation from April to the end of September. And it's basically teams travel from other states, out of state.
Flood also told me that there were local teams at the tournament and teams from over 7 states ranging many ages. Today's events brought more than 6,000 people to Moberly and promoted lots of small businesses. Homecoming festivities will wrap up Sunday at 5:30. Mid-Missourians gathered today to rally against Missouri House Bill 126, which bans abortions after 8 weeks. There are bills similar to Missouri's being passed in states like Mississippi and Kentucky, with perhaps the strictest abortion bill being passed in Texas. I spoke with organizers at the Columbia Reproductive Rally to learn more about their cause. The Columbia Reproductive Rights Rally was one of the pro-choice gatherings happening all across the United States today. Organizers from Como for Progress, Mid-Missouri Peaceworks, and Planned Parenthood attended in support of keeping abortion accessible. State Representative Martha Stevens was one of the featured speakers at the rally. Stevens spoke out against pro-life legislation.
In Missouri, Republicans have passed dangerous extreme, and medically unnecessary laws with the goal of making abortion inaccessible in our state.
The purpose of Saturday's rally was to lift up pro-choice voices and speak out against the Missouri House Bill 126, which seeks to prevent abortions past 8 weeks of pregnancy. The MC of the rally also spoke on the importance of voting when fighting laws like Missouri's.
To run for office that are fighting for reproductive rights, and we need people to vote because nothing changes if people don't get out and use that right.
The rally also included poetry, music, and dance. The director of Mid-Missouri's Peace Works spoke out about the main purpose of the rally.
We're all here in solidarity to promote reproductive rights. It's an essential part of social and economic justice that every woman should control her own body.
Attorney General Eric Schmidt wants the U.S. Supreme Court to decide the case. In July, Schmidt said the Supreme Court should consider whether Missouri's laws are, quote, reasonable regulations on abortion. The 8th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals is currently considering the case, but a ruling isn't expected for several weeks. In the studio, I'm Reagan Di Trolio, KOMU 8 News. The congregation held the biggest packing event for Operation Christmas Child in all of Central Missouri, with 140 events happening all across the state. Today's event took place just ahead of the holiday season. Some are packing up toys early this year.
And what we do with Operation Christmas Child is pack shoe boxes for children in poverty and war-torn areas in over 150 different countries.
23 members of the Grandview Baptist Church volunteered their time to make a child's Christmas better. For Charlotte Finley, the day brings joy to everyone involved.
The key to getting all of this done is being very organized and having a church that has a passion for the kids and for what we're doing.
The congregation emphasized that passion throughout the entire day, and it's clear they care about the work they are doing. Some members even hand-make some of the toys that go into the shoe boxes. One of the volunteers makes toy cars by hand.
And we cut the cars out of wood, ordered some pre-made wheels and axles, glue them all together, paint them up, shellac them, and make little cars for age 2 to 4 boys.
Other volunteers sew items from pencils and tote bags to dresses and blankets for dolls. The members said small things like this make a big difference in children's lives. The Central Missouri goal is to pack 20,000 shoe boxes ahead of National Collection Week in November. In the studio, I'm Reagan Di Trolio, KOMU 8 News.